Oh!
Okay, let's start with how the boss fight will progress. At the very start, there is only the Squirrel Ninja. When it reaches about 75% HP, it will teleport to the middle and summon storms, just like in the level 280 fight. But it will also heal to full and summon 2 ninjas, which are the same as in the Black Peach Ninja level 280 fight. Once the first ninja is killed, either one of the two, a third one will spawn to replace it. So there's a total of 3 small ninjas in the entire fight. The small ninjas will die automatically 90 seconds after they first spawn in the fight. You will see a white 9 million damage show up on your screen. Once all 3 small ninjas are dead, there is a big ninja that spawns. The boss fight ends when the squirrel dies, so the ninjas being killed or not does not matter. Moving on to the boss moveset. It has the same moves as what I've shown in the previous video, but there are a few new ones. For Squirrel, there's a new shark fan move where the fan sort of aims more towards the right side, and then it will be followed up by a very fast second wave on the left side afterwards. They're all fractional damage, and if you forget about it, it's very likely to kill you. Squirrel also has an extra one in phase 2, where it goes to mid and drops 2 meteors on itself that spawn sharks. These have Ignite and Freeze. They go outwards a little bit, not quite to the edge of the map, but all the way out, and then will flip back in and then will follow the rest of the way through. Squirrel can also retaliate to interrupt, more on that later, by going to the phase 2 starting spot and summoning more storms. For the Big Ninja has absolute ailments on every single move it does. It has Tumble on the dashes, though it's not always the first dash that gets it. Sometimes I get it on the second or third dash. I'm not exactly sure why this is the case. There's also Paralysis on the ranged laser attack. There is Ignite on the Storm AoE. There is Freeze on the ball spam. There is Flinch on its basic attack, and then Slow on its circle AoE. This big ninja here can be stunned. Here are the stats for the Squirrel, Small Ninja and Big Ninja in the fight. Credits go to Shirohebi on Twitter. I have their original post link in the description. An extra note, the 35 crit resist on the Squirrel there goes higher in phase 2. I'm not sure about the exact numbers, but my bare hand tank with 146 crit rate does not have enough crit rate for phase 2. So looking at the stats information, we notice that Squirrel has extremely high resistances when the ninjas are on the field. So now we move on to how we're gonna fight the thing. So we can first lower the boss resistance by killing all the ninjas. Aside from this, we can also interrupt the boss to reduce its resistance. There's 2 interrupts we can use. There's the tumble from the player and the self-flinch from the media that I also showed in the last video. These interrupts reduce the same amount of resistance each, but they can stack up to reduce it by a lot. Here is a test from my little mate. We have one where I only tumbled the boss. We have one where I only flinched the boss, and we have one where we did both flinch and tumble. This resistance down supposedly lasts for the rest of the fight, or at least for 1 minute if you never interrupt it again. Okay, moving on to the interrupt retaliation. I'm gonna start this section by prefacing this. I don't know. Sometimes I tumble and it's fine, sometimes I tumble and it goes apeshit, sometimes flinch is fine, other times I end up wiping my DPSs. Everything here is what seems to be correct most of the time. So here's all the points I can gather. The first interrupt in phase 2 is always okay with no retaliation. When you tumble from skills, you should try and do it when Squirrel is in the middle of an attack animation, and this tends to be okay with no retaliation. This means after the AoE marker has disappeared, but before the attack animation lands. But if Squirrel was recently interrupted by flinch or tumble, interrupting it again quickly will make it retaliate. I counted in my live stream recording, and the timing you have to wait in between for it to be safe is about 30 seconds. However, I have seen another recording of mine where it was 28 seconds, but I was using the trick mentioned above where I interrupted while it was in the middle of an attack animation. So I'm not 100% sure on this one. So our battle plan for this Squirrel for general teams, our DPSs will kill only 2 ninjas, while the tank focuses on interrupting the boss to lower resistance. We don't kill all 3 ninjas because the big ninja with all the absolute ailments will kill any non-bare hand tank extremely easily. But still, we kill 2 ninjas so that there's less AoEs flying around, and also less blue balls from the small ninjas can also kill the tank. When 2 ninjas are killed, the tank should have tumbled by then, and then DPSs can start killing the squirrel. If the big ninja does come out, you can either hang in there and continue killing the squirrel, or if your DPSs want to, they can finish killing the big ninja and then continue to kill squirrel. For teams with very high burst damage, mainly triple mage with magic cannon, you can ignore the ninjas altogether and just nuke after you see the boss get interrupted by the tank. So it can be a lucky one where the boss does the flinch move and then you also tumble, or it can be just tumble. Tumble alone is enough to end the fight relatively quick if there's 3 mages with cannon. For general advice, for every single tank I would bring War Cry and Evasion from the Assassin skill tree. This helps remove fear and slow from the whole party at once, so you don't have to cast recovery one by one. Recovery you would save it for if someone gets mana explosion, for example. Bare hand tank is honestly the most safe and consistent one here, and I would use it if mine had enough crit rate for the boss. Mine does not have enough. Around 170 to 180 crit rate would be enough. If you have the Palm Lounge armor from Road of Magister, it's a really good one to use here. The next alternative is Knuckle Tank with Anticipate, so that you can make sure your interrupts always land and doesn't get evaded. Asura is still a very convenient iframe despite the adjustment, and you also have Elegant Poise and Energy Control to fall back on if there's a lot of damage that's coming in continuously. One-handed sword with Anticipate probably works too. I'm pretty sure you can also get by with only Elegant Poise and Perfect Defense. There are also some videos of Magic Device Tank where they do the extremely low max HP plus the Sacred Teachings barrier trick. I don't know the details of their setup, and we also don't have a barrier HP formula for the post-adjustment barrier yet. So I wouldn't build one just yet, because I see that this works on the videos, but there's also someone in Phantom's library with a 1 HP build and that barrier got completely shattered by Icono's basic attacks. Granted, Iconos has physical type basic attacks, but this boss also does have a few instances of physical and magic damage to look out for, which can end up breaking the barrier if you're not gonna iframe it perfectly on time, since they always spam Wind Release and Elegant Poise in their videos. For some bonus facts and tips, the cooldown for Tumble is shared in between the phases. So if your party really wants to push for a fast kill, the tank can actually start at a distance and then skip tumbling at the start. Let the boss run to you so it doesn't trigger any AoE. Then you can tumble immediately when phase 2 starts. Credits to Alan for this, link to that video is in the description as well. Another one found by Shoranku in Phantom's library. If you kill one of the first 2 ninjas and are damaging the third new one that spawned, and then the second one's auto death trigger happens, it will also heal the third ninja to full health. And lastly, this was seen from a friend's perspective and not mine, so I literally have no evidence or footage to show for this except for just trust me bro. But the Ignite ailment reduces Squirrel's crit resistance by a little bit, and making it self-flinch lowers the crit resistance even more. I don't know the exact numbers, but my friend with 140 crit rate could always crit after the Squirrel flinched itself, but if I only casted Ignite and the Squirrel did not flinch itself, they couldn't really crit all the time. If this is purely RNG messing with us, then please correct me in the comments. And that's about all the info for the new difficulty that I have for you guys. I'm going to leave you guys with my uncut footage of one of the runs I did with some random DPSs.